Hi everybody, this is Becca from Watch Becca Plan, and today I'm going to talk about color coding. So when I talk about color coding in my planner, I have divided my life up into categories and assigned a color to each of those categories. And over the years, things have changed in what I find important in my life and that I need to track. Like before I had my son, I had, I didn't need a category for him because I didn't have him yet. So I had just my personal stuff. So I had like a health category for my health appointments. A lot, I was working at the time, so I had my work schedule and like work things I needed to do. So I had other categories that were important, but as life changes, so did my categories. So now these are my categories. These are the markers that I use. Excuse me. You can use mild liners. Like I grabbed red, like Roy G. Biv colors. It's easier to use these colors because they are, you can, across all the different stuff, you can use these ones. But if you just pick up a pack of highlighters from the store, they will most likely have these 6 colors. So that's why I say it's easier to start with the basic colors and then expand from there if you want to. These are the colors that I use personally. I have them labeled. These are from Mr. Pen off Amazon. They were like $3 or $4, but I like them a lot. So I use them most of the time. Finances are red. Home is this orangey color. My category is like this pinky, orange, purpley tan color. My son is like this light green mint color. Family is blue. And then Watch Becca Plan is purple. Those are my basic categories. You could also do, the main way that I go about making these categories is I look through my calendar, I look through my notes, I look through my tasks, I look through my physical paperwork, I look through emails, that kind of stuff. I go through and I kind of see where the main categories are. Like if I have, like for my son, my physical paperwork, this is my physical paperwork. Sorry, my chair is squeaky. This is my physical paperwork binder. Anything that I get goes in these categories, and it's color coded by my keys. So I have finances, home, my section, my son section, my family section, then I have a to file and a to scan. Things that need to go into the file system and things that need to be scanned that don't really have a like a category. So you could look through, like if you don't have any children and you just need to worry about yourself, or your planner is just for you, you might have a health section, or you might have a pet section where a pet ski where like maybe you have a pet that has some health concerns or something and you have to give a medication daily or something like that. You might need a pet section. If you work full-time or work at all outside of the home, or even if you do work inside the home, you might have a work category. Like I took out what Watch Becca Plan, and I made that its own category because I started to have too much stuff that I needed to do for it, that it needed its own category. If you go to church, if you only go once a week, you might not need a category for that. But if you go multiple times a week and you have a lot of activities that you do with your church, maybe you would need a category for that. Community service. If you do a lot of community service and you have a lot of appointments or things that you go do with them, maybe you would need a category for that. Sports, if your child is in sports, or if you like watching sports, and you have, every week they play your team plays a game, maybe you like to keep track of that. Maybe you need a category for that. Or your child has practices and then a game, and you have away games and home games, and you need to be able to track that kind of stuff. Hobbies, reading, I track book releases. If you take a painting class, or anything like a special class that you take, games, like events in your games that you play, stuff like that. Maybe those need a special category. I wrote out what my subcategories are, because within those categories you have subcategories. So like for finances, I have bills and paydays. Those are really the only things that I track in my planner for finances. I have a Google Sheets spreadsheet that has everything else in it, and it is color coded with that. Home, car maintenance, pets. You could put pets and family if you really wanted to. All kinds of when I get a receipt from a maintenance worker or from an oil change place or something like that, I always put it in the file folder and put it into the home category. Games, this is where I have a special color highlighter for Pokemon Go, because it has so many events every month that I need to have a special color for that specific game. All my other games I play, I don't really need that. Book releases, I do in my color, because it's not very often, maybe one or two books a month that I want to read or are the next in a series. And so I just do it under my color code key, because it doesn't have that much. If it had as much as Pokemon Go, yes, I would probably have its own color. Planning, and my health goes under my key. For my son, health, school, and then sports. We're thinking about getting him in baseball this spring. So when he starts doing sports, we'll have all that stuff to track too. But it would all be under his category. Family is like birthdays. We have a lot of family, so we have a lot of birthday parties that we go to every year. And we have to, this is the time for that birthday party. Holidays, we have a lot of grandparents and parents and stuff, so we have holidays at multiple houses. So it's important to have a color code key for family, because we have so much going on in those categories. So that's kind of how, just go through everything in your email, calendar, and really think about the different categories of your life that you could put things on. You can put certain things like health, you could put in your category. If you have multiple children, you could do a category for each child, and health could be in there. Maybe one of your kids plays sports but the other doesn't, so sports could go into that child's category. And you could have a subcategory of it. But just dividing up your life in the way that makes sense to you. These colors might not work for you. Like, you might not see home as orange. You might see home as red, or whatever color you want to make it. You can do anything you want with any colors you want, any categories you want. But it's just taking your life, what is most important. This is not what my color code key looked like 5-6 years ago. It was completely different 5 or 6 years ago, before my son was born. So this has developed over the last little bit. One thing I will say is it is nice to have separate categories for people. Like your personal one and then your children. Only because, especially with health appointments, I used to have health be blue, and then all of the health appointments were blue, but it was really hard to determine whose appointment was highlighted. I mean, it's written there, but at the same time, like, I like to just look at it and know exactly, oh, that's green, so it's my son. So having separate categories for everyone is very helpful. And like you could ask them what their favorite color is. You could have a monthly calendar on the wall of your home and ask. Everyone gets to pick an expo marker color, and then that's their color. So it just picking it out is what feels right to you, and what, when you vision that color, what do you see? For my son, green just kind of developed for him. I used to be yellow, but with this highlighter set, this color was the one that I liked the most. Family just kind of ended up being blue. And finances, I used to do money, bills in red and paydays in green before I had my son. So, and health was blue. And I think home was always orange. And then my personal stuff used to be purple, I think. But so things can change. You can change different things, but as your life develops and, maybe something isn't as important as it used to be. So it's just a matter of thinking about that category of your life and thinking about what color you would see it as. Because the easier it is for you to remember that color goes with that category, the more you're likely to use it. So that's this. I'm going to show you how to make all of the folders in your digital, like transfer all of this into digital as well, and all of your emails and note-taking apps and stuff like that. And then this is the physical. I have a file system set up almost just like this in a file box, and it has the stickers with the color code keys on it, and it just houses everything. It can have subcategories, but most of it is the main categories like this are set up. So and like my son's school paperwork is all in its own separate binder, and my everything has this color code key because these are the main categories of my life, and so I have everything has a place in this color code key. So, and it sometimes when you get stuff, you don't know where to put it. And honestly, when that happens, I just think, in the future, when I look back, where would I think I put this? So that's my question to myself. But it's just really sitting down and looking at what you have going on in your life and what are the main 6. I like to keep it short and have a short, like less is more in this, because the more you have, the more complicated it is to remember and the more you have to deal with. So 6 is usually my max, and then I have subcategories below that, or in these categories, because more than 6 and it gets difficult for me to handle mentally. So 6 is about my good number. You can have less, you can have more, just depends on your life, but 6 is a good number. And it helps because these colors are in every sticky notes, all kinds of stuff. So it makes it a little bit easier. But I will show you how to set this up in all of your digital formats. And the paper formats are just file folders with the colors. So it's not too hard. But the digital format's a little bit harder. So I will show you how to do that. And I will see you in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to take that color code key and take it and put it across all of your like digital stuff. So this is this is Gmail. This could work across all email. I'm pretty sure most email like systems have this label system, but you just do labels, and I number them so that they stay in the order that I want them to. So you just click the label and you type in 4. I do 4 for my son, and I click create, and then I go over here and I go to label color, and he's like a minty green.
So that's how I do email. Gmail, I have finances on here. You go to system, and most calendar apps have this system. So we'll do two for home, create calendar, and then when we go back, we'll have home, and we can go in and hit orange. So, and whatever color they have, most Google has, you can hit this little plus and you can do any color you want. You can go to like a hexagon like a color palette generator and find a color palette you like, and then match highlighters to that and make your own custom letter, like custom colors, and you can type in the hex codes and do it that way. Most of the Google stuff has that custom color stuff. I don't know, I don't use Apple products, so I don't know much about Apple, um but I know Google does. um, and then find it for Notion, I just go in and I hit the plus, a new page, and type in home, and then add icon. And then I'll just type in home, and you can hit that, and then hit the orange, and you have an orange icon on the side panel here. Um, you can you can move these around. Yes, switch to manual. Um, you can move these around. And in my home Notion, I have a page for like pet information. What happens is in my planner, I keep general information, but anything I need to keep long term goes digital. So I have a pets page, a car page, home maintenance page in my Notion, all kinds of stuff in my Notion. That's where the long-term tracking happens, is my Notion. Information at the end of the year gets moved from my planner to Notion, and I do a big info dump once a year, and it all just gets put into my Notion. Or if I happen to keep up on it that year, it as things happen, it gets put in. Just it depends on how the year went. Most years I don't have time for that. My goal is to have everything be automated. So when something happens, I know I try to keep it to two places where I track that. Paper, usually a physical copy and a digital copy. I don't want to have to write something in multiple places on multiple days. Like I want it to be automated. I want it to do things for me. I don't have time. I just want to get I just want to keep organized and do it as efficiently and easily as possible. The other one is like a Google Drive or a Dropbox or you know, Evernote's more like Notion, I think, with notes and stuff like that. But I do think Evernote has like a file saving system. So if you use Evernote, Google Drive, Dropbox, any like document saving system, you can do this too. So you just in this one you just click new folder, and then I have um, walls, and then you do organize, and you hit the color you want for that. And then you have all your documents can be put into that folder. I have subcategories in a lot of my folders. So like bills, debt, pay stubs. My son's folder has school, and then when like school is broken down by year. So like school, like the 2024-2025 school year will be in there, and all of his paperwork for that current school year will go in there. I also keep, because he is on in like special needs education, I also keep copies of his progression with his schoolwork for future savings. So in case, I have a binder with everything in it, but in case if anything ever happens, I have backups of that so that I can, if anything ever comes up, I have the documents for that. Because I have a lot of stuff coming in all the time that I need to organize and take care of, and so it all needs to be organized and taken care of in a systematic way. So, um, anything that you use, physical or digital, you can use this color code key. You can use highlighters, post-it notes. One of the reasons why I use that basic red, orange, Roy Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, purple, blue, or you know the correct order, is because it's so easy to go onto Amazon and find a pack of sticky notes that are in those colors. So easy to find a set of stickers that are in those colors. If you start getting into the crazy custom colors, it's a little bit harder to find things across the board for those colors. Um, for me mentally, it saves me so much time to be able to look at something and like a post-it note that's green and say, "Oh, that's for my son." And just automatically recognize that's for my son and then be able to look at the information. I don't have to like I do enjoy using fancy sticky notes once in a while, but like I usually try to keep the color within what my color color key says. Um but yeah, in physical stuff, you can get certain folders that are those colors. Like it's back to school season, they have a rainbow of colors. You could get folders for each of those colors and put your paperwork in those. Um, but yeah, those are the highlighters, the sticky notes, the stickers, washi tape, um, that kind of stuff. It's a lot easier to find that stuff in a set when you have those basic colors, but you can do any color you want. They have you can get stickers of any color. You can get washi tape of any color. It doesn't really matter. Highlighters of any color. Um, but it's a little if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of supplies, starting out with those basic colors and then expanding out to the more customized colors is a little easier. One thing that I have an issue with is if I pick a odd color, that color is in that set of highlighters. But once I move, like if I have to get new colors or I have to get new highlighters or I see a highlighter I really like that has a special feature that I like brush pens or a dot marker, sometimes those colors don't transfer as much. So it's harder when you pick colors that aren't like in a basic set. Um so but yeah, that's how I transfer this color code key to everything in my life. Um I have it across all of my digital platforms. My external hard drive is set up exactly the same as this Google Drive folder where it's got the color keys and everything just goes in there. I have a separate one for photos, separate folder for photos, and a separate one for like YouTube videos. My planner stuff goes in my folder. My reading tracker goes in my folder. My Google Sheets tracker goes in my folder. Anything like that, all goes in my folder. Anything for the home, receipts from maintenance workers goes in the home folder, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's how I color code my life. Um, and honestly, it takes a lot to set up. It doesn't even take that much, but it might take a lot to set up. But once you get the system in place and you start to use it and you start to really visualize those categories being that color, it is honestly a huge time saver. I get something from my son's some paperwork from my son's school, it goes in the file folder. I know on my monthly review, I will go through that and put it away where it needs to go or scan it if I need to scan it, and I'm done. So like I know that I have those systems in place to check myself, and I trust those systems enough to be able to rely on them. It is extremely helpful, and it saves me a lot of time. I have finance Google Sheets that are set up to automatically calculate everything. I want to save as much time as possible. Even if it takes extra time in the beginning, I would rather do that and save myself a bunch of time in the long run. So I that's how I do things. I set up systems and then I they save me time in the long run. So yeah. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I hope this helps to the person who asked for this video. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please comment down below or message me on Instagram. So yeah, If you have any questions, comment, leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.